So this is the 5th time I'm actually trying to record this, so just bear with me. You are probably going to hear some weird sounds, weird computing sounds in the background, and that's because I don't have an external microphone. And I'm also using an external keyboard because, let's just say, my laptop hasn't been feeling really well lately, so I had to find ways to work around that. So before I start kind of explaining what's going on in this weird UI, I know it might seem really complicated if you've never seen 3D Studio Max before. There's a lot of stuff going on, some of the stuff that I don't even know what's happening, what's going on with them. So yeah. So before that, I just wanted to let you know that I'm going to use the 2019 3D Studio Max. And I just hope that there's not a lot of differences in the version that you're going to use. But one advice that I can tell you is if you're going to start a project in one version, try to stick with that until you actually finish the project. There is a reason for that. So the thing is that you cannot open newer Max scene files in older versions of 3D Studio Max. So there's weird things going on when you try to open a file in a different version. There's solutions to that, but at least in the beginning, just try to stick with the same version. Trust me, it happened to me in uni. I was working on my laptop on a scene, and then I was going to university on their computers, and I was trying to open it and it didn't work, and I didn't have my laptop with me, and it was crazy. So just stick to the same version if you can. That would be really helpful. So when you open this software, complicated looking software, this is what you basically going to see. There's multiple viewports, and they all kind of show you the 3D object from a different perspective. So you basically have the front view, the left, the top, and the perspective, and you can just change them however you want. If you click here, you can see all the options that you have. And they also have shortcuts, which you'll be able to learn in the future, that they kind of enable you to just switch between the views kind of easily. So if, for example, for some reason I don't really like this perspective view on the right corner, I just want the top view, and that will change. So right now you're not going to be able to see the difference between the left and the top view, obviously, but once we have a 3D object inside the scene, that's definitely going to be noticeable. There's a few other templates here that you can try, but what I like to do is to select one of these perspectives. So let's say this one. You can see that it has a yellow outline, and there is a toggle here, maximize viewport, and that will make your perspective full screen. And if I press P on my keyboard, that will get me the perspective view. So I can see everything bigger. I'm wearing glasses as well, so maybe that's the reason why I like this. This full screen thingy. But it's much easier to kind of interact with the object in full screen. So to kind of explain how I'm actually moving around, what you need to do So to kind of explain how I'm moving things around, I'm basically moving the scene. I use it, I So to kind of explain how I'm moving things around, I'm using my mouse, and I'm using the middle button of my mouse, the wheel basically. So if I press it and just hold it and just drag my mouse around, I can just pan the view. If I press Alt at the same time as I'm doing the middle button thingy, I can rotate the view as well. And if I just use my wheel and scroll, basically, I can zoom in and zoom out as much as I like. On the right side, there's something that is really important. So you'll see all these panels right here. There's a plus, which stands for create, and you'll see all these shapes here. These are called primitives, and they're basically predefined shapes that you can just put on your scene. There's standard primitives, and if you just open this drop-down list, there's going to be extended primitives as well. Basically, more shapes that are already done for us, so we don't have to worry about it. And there's one other panel, the modify panel, which is basically going to help us redefine and change the simple geometry that this primitives kind of offers us. So if, for example, we want a car, we're going to start with a box and we're going to edit the hell out of that box to kind of shape it as a car. But for that, we're going to need ways to modify it. So that's where this panel comes in. This list, which is kind of empty right now, is going to have a lot of kind of automatic actions that are going to change the geometry in some ways for us. So that's going to be really helpful. Besides the primitives, we can add lights, cameras. For the animation part, we basically have these keyframes right here, which we can animate. This is basically for rendering and materials, and there's lots of other stuff that we're gonna see in the future. There's one other thing that I really wanted to tell you, and if you go to customize, preferences, and under the general tab, you'll see the scene undos. So the number of levels is the numbers of undos that you can make, and trust me, you want to make this 100. It's kind of difficult to see when you made a mistake and you want to go back, and you won't even realize it's been, I don't know, 15 steps, 15 levels that you need to go back. So I put this to 100 just to make sure, but if you feel like 50 is enough for you, then go for it. But I'm kind of messy. I don't usually save a part of the object and then kind of have another to work on, just to make sure that at least one version of it is saved and I can go back to it. So I need as many levels as possible. So please do that if you feel like it's something that's going to be useful to you. So I think this is everything for the basic stuff. And we're gonna move on to creating some awesome boxes in the next video and see how we can actually put these into the scene.